Arctic cold has gripped Europe. The United States is being shaken by tornadoes and floods, leaving destruction and chaos across vast areas. And in Siberia, hurricane-force winds and wildfires are raging. More and more people believe this is no coincidence. Watch this episode for coverage of the most large-scale disasters that hit the world from April 2nd to April 8th. USA starting April 2nd, a massive storm system struck the central United States. In just 2 days, 68 confirmed tornadoes were recorded, 3 of which reached destructive strength, EF3 category. This storm wave became one of the most intense in recent years. More than 15 million people found themselves in a zone of heightened danger. Since the beginning of 2025, the United States has experienced a real surge in tornado activity. Meteorologists have already issued nearly 1,000 warnings. This is a record-high figure, second only to one other in the entire history of meteorological observations in the country. The EF3 tornado dealt a severe blow to the city of Lake City in Arkansas. The whirlwind effortlessly tore down houses and lifted cars as if they were toys. In the state of Indiana, in Carmel, a powerful whirlwind toppled a radio tower and damaged the facades of several buildings. In Brownstown, a warehouse collapsed under the force of the storm, trapping 3 people under the debris. In Tennessee, there were casualties. At least 5 people were killed. 3 of them were in the city of Selmer, where a powerful tornado, with winds reaching up to 257 kilometers per hour, tore through residential areas and virtually wiped out entire neighborhoods. The storm brought not only heavy rains, but also hailstones up to 7.5 centimeters in size, which damaged roofs and building facades, as well as shattered car windows. By the morning of April 3rd, more than 280,000 residents across 4 states were left without electricity. In Ohio, Kentucky, and Arkansas, the region also experienced another devastating event: sudden and widespread flooding. The storm, which lingered between 2 powerful high-pressure systems, dumped heavy rain on the central states for 4 days. This water chaos has already been dubbed the flood of generations. The most critical situation was recorded in Tennessee, Arkansas, and Kentucky. There, in just 1 day, the amount of rainfall was close to the average monthly norm. In Memphis, Tennessee, 139 millimeters of rainfall fell in just 1 day, a record for April, the highest ever recorded since observations began in 1872. It's worth noting that April is not yet over. In northern Arkansas, heavy rains caused several train cars to derail. In Little Rock, for the first time in the city's history, a state of emergency was declared due to a sudden flood. In Kentucky, water flooded highways, destroyed bridges, and completely isolated several settlements. The hardest hit area was Owen County, where the strongest flood in decades occurred. The water level in the river in the city of Monterey surpassed the record set back in 1937. The water flows in the city of Frankfurt were so strong that they swept away a schoolboy who was heading to the bus stop. Unfortunately, the child could not be saved. In Franklin County, debris from a large building was carried down the river, a stark reflection of the destructive power of the flood. In certain areas of the Mississippi and Ohio River valleys, which were heavily affected by the storm, the highest, 4th, level of flash flood threat was maintained for 3 consecutive days. Such a situation is extremely rare, even at the peak of the tropical storm season. Continuous rains significantly hampered recovery and cleanup efforts in areas affected by the destructive tornadoes. However, despite the tornadoes and heavy rains subsiding, the danger did not disappear. In cities across the Midwest and South, river levels continued to rise and residents were forced to leave their homes, escaping the growing floods. The disaster claimed the lives of at least 25 people across 7 states. Russia. On April 5th, powerful storms hit several Siberian regions. The storm hit hardest in the Krasnoyarsk Krai and the Republic of Khakassia, where the consequences were the most destructive. Witnesses say they've never encountered such a violent storm before. Hurricane-force winds with gusts of up to 35 meters per second knocked over bus stops, broke trees, uprooted benches, overturned trash bins, and tore down fences and advertising structures. Anything that wasn't securely anchored was lifted into the air and scattered across the streets. As a result, dozens of people were injured, some of them in critical condition. During the storm, a woman was killed after falling from a balcony. In the Krasnoyarsk Krai, powerful wind gusts tore off a large fragment of roofing slate, which then punctured the roof of a parked car. On suburban plots, the wind ripped doors off houses and scattered greenhouses. The storm also triggered numerous wildfires. In Khakassia, a state of emergency had to be declared. In the Irkutsk region, the fires even spread to residential homes, threatening local residents. Within just one day, 119 fires broke out across the Krasnoyarsk Krai. Fire tornadoes formed near Krasnoyarsk Airport, and people had to be evacuated from the danger zones. The storm also caused widespread power outages, leaving tens of thousands of residents without electricity. Arctic blast in Europe. Starting April 5th, a powerful wave of Arctic cold swept across Central and Eastern Europe, the Balkans, parts of the Mediterranean, and Turkey. After an unusually warm March, when trees bloomed and vegetation became active everywhere, the region was suddenly hit by a sharp drop in temperatures and heavy snowfall. The abnormal cold spell struck agriculture particularly hard. Blooming fruit trees, highly vulnerable to sudden frosts and temperature swings, were especially at risk. In Belarus, the severe weather took the form of heavy snowfall accompanied by blizzards and gusty winds. As a result, 272 settlements were left without electricity. The most seriously affected regions were Minsk and Mogilev. In Poland, the weather changed within just a few hours. After nearly summer-like warmth with temperatures around plus 20 degrees Celsius, a cold wave swept across the country. Frost, powerful wind gusts, snow, and freezing rain arrived unexpectedly. In Olsztyn, the snowfall was accompanied by a thunderstorm, a rare and alarming combination of phenomena. In the capital, Warsaw, wind gusts reaching up to 80 kilometers per hour knocked down trees, damaged power lines, and partially tore roofs off houses. In Ukraine, the weather also changed abruptly. Heavy snowfalls hit not only the western regions but also reached the south of the country, including Odessa Oblast, where snow in April is an extremely rare occurrence. Temperatures dropped 6 to 12 degrees below normal, raising serious concerns among farmers. In the Carpathians, the frost reached minus 18 degrees Celsius, delivering a significant blow to the region's agriculture and natural environment. According to meteorologists, such a prolonged and intense cold wave during peak blooming season is truly an unprecedented situation. In Bulgaria, the severe weather struck with unexpected force. In some areas, snow accumulated up to 40 centimeters, paralyzing road traffic and leaving numerous settlements without electricity. In Plovdiv, strong winds and wet snow brought down trees, damaging parked cars. The hardest blow was dealt to agriculture. Due to the sudden cold snap and frost, nearly the entire fruit harvest in the country was destroyed. On April 6th in Greece, where early April is usually marked by spring warmth with temperatures around 20 degrees Celsius, winter suddenly returned. Snowfalls covered the northern and central regions of the country. In several areas, including Thessaloniki, the unexpected return of winter turned into a full-scale natural disaster. Snowdrifts reached 30 centimeters, and in some places, temperatures dropped to minus 7 degrees Celsius. These weather conditions dealt a severe blow to agriculture. Cherry, apricot, and peach crops were damaged by the frost. Farmers are reporting significant financial losses. On April 7th, Turkey faced a sharp deterioration in weather conditions. Heavy rains swept through various regions, and in some areas, snow fell unexpectedly. Across the country, temperatures dropped 4 to 10 degrees below the climatic norm. Spain. On April 3rd, Storm Nuria hit the Canary Islands, bringing with it destructive winds with gusts reaching up to 124 kilometers per hour. Due to the extremely adverse weather conditions, the highest level of danger was declared on the island of La Palma. Such a rare occurrence that even local residents expressed concern. Powerful wind gusts were breaking metal structures, fallen trees blocked roads, and widespread power outages occurred in several areas. The storm disrupted airport operations, and 5-meter waves caused disruptions in maritime transport. Heavy rainfall was reported in some regions. On April 4th, the storm hit the mainland of Spain. The Castilla-La Mancha region was battered by severe weather. Heavy rain, gusty winds, and hail. The province of Albacete was particularly affected. In just a few minutes, the streets and rooftops were covered with a thick layer of hail. The heavy rainfall caused significant damage to the region's agriculture, particularly to almond trees that were in the active blooming stage. A destructive tornado swept through the province of Cuenca, knocking down trees and causing significant damage to buildings and solar panels. Fortunately, there were no casualties or injuries. The tornado that struck near the city of Seville, in the Andalusia region, resulted in the deaths of 3 people. A warehouse destroyed by the storm was reduced to a pile of debris. Democratic Republic of the Congo. Starting April 4th, heavy rains hit the capital of the republic, Kinshasa. Floods and landslides affected a significant part of the 17 million-strong metropolis. The disaster claimed the lives of at least 33 people. The Njili River, which runs through the entire city, overflowed, flooding the main national highway and causing damage to hundreds of buildings. This led to disruptions in transportation links with the international airport. To evacuate passengers stranded due to the flooding, authorities organized emergency ferry services. Many drivers were trapped in their cars and spent the entire night there. Residents had to navigate the flooded streets by swimming or using makeshift boats, including canoes. The city faced serious disruptions in the supply of electricity and water. Indonesia. In early April, Indonesia faced a powerful natural disaster. Heavy rains triggered severe flooding and landslides in several regions of the country. Rivers overflowed, flooding residential areas and causing damage to infrastructure. In some areas, water levels rose up to 1.5 meters. Hundreds of people were forced to leave their homes, and some settlements were completely cut off from the outside world. Landslides destroyed homes and blocked roads. On April 3rd, in the Mojokerto district, located in East Java province, a swift landslide destroyed a section of road about 50 meters long. With a loud crash, masses of earth, boulders, and fallen trees slid down, crashing directly onto the road and dragging 2 cars into a deep ravine. The disaster claimed the lives of 10 people. Many people now lean towards the idea that the series of catastrophes are the result of technology, climate weapons, artificial intervention, or someone's malicious intent. People are trying to find those responsible, believing that the catastrophes will stop once those they think control the weather cease to influence it. But these catastrophes are not the result of some conspiracy or mythical punishment. They are an objective reality driven by global natural cycles. These processes can be observed, studied, and predicted. They are the outcome of physical processes happening with the planet, as confirmed by science. And it is science that can now combat the climate crisis. Only when the media begin to speak the truth, honestly, openly, and without distortion, and address all the real threats that exist, will a true shift in public consciousness be possible. The civilized world will then recognize the scale of what is happening and focus its attention and support on science, on those scientists who truly understand the nature of these processes, and most importantly, are capable of offering solutions. Humanity already has everything it needs: advanced technologies, deep knowledge, and sufficient resources. All that remains is to unite all of this for the sake of the most valuable thing: preserving our shared future.